Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. This is Mike, and today I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for September 15th, 2024, 2024. We've got a lot of Transformers news. We've got a lot of news from a lot of things. A lot of stuff's happened this week. I've actually made a few extra news type of videos throughout the week. We'll touch on pretty much all that, but we have Masterpiece, Legends, Hasbro mainline news, and we have Legends companies making Studio Series Megatrons. Mask is officially going to get brought back, and I made a video about that, but I will be discussing that. It's very exciting. We got some more Target Geek Out stuff going on, and is it the Fall Geek Out that's going on? Well, stuff is starting to show up at Targets, and that's kind of, he's eating the cat. We had a round of Gijoe classified reveals, and more or less everything that we saw we expected, but it all looked pretty good. We'll go over that. Thundercats, Catslair update, packaging update. It's okay. It's fine. We'll talk about that. But there was a lot of Star Wars news from Hasbro, but I really think that the passing of James Earl Jones is a much bigger news this week than anything Hasbro would put out. So we'll talk about Star Wars news, all this stuff, and more coming up. Okay, starting out with what's new at Shows the Store, and we have 3 more versions of the Newage Snarl, and I'm going to talk a little more about this, have some more pictures to show, but they're all up for pre-order, $1 down, and generally about the $70 mark for pricing, between $60 and $70 for these. And I think I'm going to be out on the Clear and the G2 also, but I already did pre-order the EX. Also, there's a pre-order up for the, what are they calling them? Ron and Ratliff. But this is the Ratliff, so X-Transbot's version of Ratchet next to Takara's Ratchet. And I didn't know this Friday when I put my video out, but look how much taller X-Transbots is than Takara. And I was kind of expecting almost the same height, but very impressive. Anyway, up for pre-order, both those. Shows the Store, TH for your code. Alright, getting into news, I like to start off with Masterpiece, but this is technically Studio Series. This is Newage making a Studio Series Megatron, and it looks fantastic, and we're going to see its alt mode here in a bit. And this is all it really comes with. I don't know the price yet. It is $1 down at Shows the Store. And that's where I got these pictures from. And it looks pretty good. I wouldn't say it's perfect, and I still wouldn't say it's the best Megatron in the world, but I'd say it's really good. And so with that, I'm gonna pick it apart just a little bit and say the inside of the thigh, it's kind of got the trigger and trigger guard. It's hidden away, but it's pretty clean the way they hid it away. And you can still see some like folding parts from the bottom of the chest and just pieces here and there. But overall, I mean, just overall aesthetic, it hits it, it nails it. It's very G1-esque. All the cues are there. We know they do the paint really well. So it's going to be interesting for them to start mingling into this Hasbro Studio Series kind of Earthrise scale. Here's another picture, how it scales next to the Earthrise. Now, we do know that the Commander Class Prime is bigger than the Earthrise, so it just kind of, you can still have an idea of how it would scale, and that's how it looks. I do want to show it next to Agamemnon, which is their Legends scale Megatron, and I gotta say they've made some improvements. There are a couple of things. I like the chest a little bit better on the Agamemnon, but they've done more or less overall a better job on this one, so just kind of want to point some stuff out to it. Now for the tank mode, I'm not exact. Oh wait, it doesn't have a tank mode. It's got a Walther P38 mode. Oh, that's nice. I don't think it's going to have the silencer or the stock, the rear part, but it's awesome that they're doing it, and really cool, really exciting. I've got one pre-ordered for myself, one for my son, and yeah, this is just something that there's a gap in the market, and Newage is filling it. All right, there's a couple of pictures making the rounds on the new Magic Square Brawl, and I want to point out a couple things. So this picture here it's good for two reasons. Number one, you can kind of see the shininess of the plastic and the reflectiveness, how it's reflecting off, versus their Legends. So there is a difference in the plastic and how they're utilizing it, and it looks different. You can tell just by looking at it in this picture that it's different. And the reviewers say in hand it feels more solid, and it feels like the plastic's harder and it's less flexible, which is good and it's bad. But I mean, if their design is fixed to where you don't have to flex anything past anything, then it'll be great. And the color's really close, but yet a little bit different. But that is an interesting comparison picture. I think they call it Heavy Gunner. Here it is with the packaging in the box. Really does look a lot like how they packed the Legends one, which they're not reinventing the wheel completely, which is fine with me. Here it is in alt mode with the box, the packaging that it's going to come in, and I think I've got mine already paid for, so they should be shipping soon. Pretty cool, pretty exciting stuff, and I'm looking forward to get my hands on this and starting yet another one. But I still haven't finished the Legends one yet, so I'm also looking forward to getting the last component of the Legends one, getting that thing built, and then I guess building this one right after. So there's Brawl. Right, Dreamstar Toys is coming out with a DST02-001. Is it Forklift Warrior 02? So it's a mouthful, but they're working on their Devastator. This is like Devastator number 5, Devi, and it's stylized, but it still looks cool. It's got a cool look to it. At the end of the day, it might be the coolest looking set in bot mode, especially when you see the coloration. So pretty good. Now here's the leg. It's actually more or less the lower leg, so I'm guessing the thigh is going to be either parts forming or they have something else worked out. But looking at the toes, it looks like you could just fold the toes out and get more of a G1 or classical look to it. It's like, it just appears that you could fold the toes, or you could just make it look more classic than this. So possibilities in the future on this guy. I'm not in on this because I'm already in on way too many Devies the way it is. And then here it is in the alt mode. Still a pretty cool looking alt mode. I actually kind of like that translucent red windshield they have going on. I dig the green. It's not the classic green. It's a little different, but I still like it. But anyhow, Dreamstar Toys. Okay, so we've got Fans Hobby again showing off their latest project here. This has got a Prime in with this upgrade armor. This is their MB25. This is the first test shots of the 2 combined modes. So looking pretty good overall, and I think they've come quite a bit of ways here. And it shows some guns you can put up top and different things that can be going on with it. And then there's kind of the side-by-side there of it. And yeah, it looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. Okay, I'm not even going to say I know any more about this project than I do. There's the pictures. So we got more updates from Lewin Resources, or W Resources. And now that I see it in its full form, it looks almost exactly or really identical to the Generations Titan class that Hasbro put out in 2013. This is too similar to that. To me, why not go more G1 if they were just going to copy that one? And people say IDW or something along those lines, but why not go more for a G1 look? Still, I think it looks good, and I guess personally I'm a little more accepting of it now that I've had the Generations one for so long, but I still would have preferred a more G1 look. But looks good, looks great. I hear it's going to be very expensive, very big, very heavy. Not sure how they're going to ship it in multiple boxes or what, but interesting updates on this. And it's actually getting made, so there's a lot of pluses to it. All right, finally we get to see MMC's more or less completed combiner for their Devastator, and I gotta say, they move fast. They move real fast, like a first date. No, third date. Anyway, we've seen pictures of this with kind of the same arm on both sides, same leg on both sides. This is the whole thing, and yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm a little put off, maybe just not so happy about how the waist area is handled, and I'm assuming there's going to be another upgrade kit to make the feet look a little fuller, maybe add a half an inch or something to the guy. But past that, I think everything else looks good. I think they've done a good job with it. The all-in-one is a challenge. It is a challenge, and I do think that you get a lot more out of it with the combiner pieces and the add-on pieces, but there is a segment of the collecting community that wants the all-in-one. They do not want parts forming, and I understand that, and I can appreciate that. All right, Pangu Toys is making another 18-inch Commander. This is going to be the Nemesis Prime, and it looks cool. The original one, I like it, but I let my son have that one. He loves it. He absolutely loves it. He's building a whole scene and shelf around it, and it's very impressive. He's done a really good job with that. But with it, here this is, and to know the first one, I really didn't have any serious issues. I can't really remember anything other than I didn't have the right batteries to light up the head, and I'm really sucking on button batteries. Here's the alt mode. Looks like you'd expect. This is originally the Magic Square design, upscaled to whatever 18-inch scale is this day and age. Right, we've got pictures of Missing Link. This is Sentinel Prime, and I think the colors are striking. I don't really have any sort of relation to the color scheme, but I think it's cool. I have one on pre-order. I'm going to check it out, but I'm definitely supporting Missing Link. There's a lot of Missing Link stuff going on this week. So Takara did unveil that they're doing a Missing Link RC. This mock-up does not transform, but will be exciting. I'm probably going to get 3 of these. This is awesome. The Missing Link RC, it's one of those things, it's kind of like a folk story. It's one of those stories from back in the day, and they never made it, and they should have. It's really going to be impressive to see what they do with it. And, you know, I wouldn't mind if they took a little bit of liberties, make it look a little bit better, but still if they go super straight like it would have been if they would have made it based on the prototype, I would be okay with that too. So that's pretty cool. There's also a Sunstreaker. So the thing about Sunstreaker is that it is a hard figure to get intact. And to get one, a vintage G1 Sunstreaker that's intact. But it's also kind of one of those things that it already kind of had the separate legs. It wasn't as attached by bars as you would see, like Wheeljack, the feet are just attached by bars. This one was a little bit more separated, and so they're going this route first, but it gives me hope for a Wheeljack in the future that does more than it does those kind of car bots. But still very exciting, and I'll definitely be in on this one. And kind of interview and behind the scenes stuff, they're saying that Missing Link is unlocking the potential of what G1 should have been or could have been, or realizing the full potential of it. And they say the best is yet to come. Here we go with 3-0. They're non-transforming Transformer 1 figures, and I pre-ordered their Alita 1, but they all look pretty good. And I was like, well, I'm not going to double dip. Definitely not double dip and then just get the YOLO Park ones because I know they're good. But I also know that the MDLX line is pretty good from 3-0. Now, the difference, contrast between those and the YOLO Park, it'll be interesting to see which ones are better or which ones people like more. But they're both priced about the same now. They're both 60. Before, the 3-0 ones were pushing 80 or 90, but now they're 60. So direct competition with YOLO Park. All right, getting back to this picture right here, we've got the Newage Snarl in the Legends scale, and I did pre-order the EX, and I just got my payment for it, paid for it, and I think that that's the best version, the EX. But the clear is cool. It's kind of fun. I don't really know if I want to go with all of them in clear. And then the G2, and I'm pretty sure I want to do all the G2s. Shattered Glass is cool also, but they've done a really good job with this. All right, here's the G2 Snarl. I think the G2 Snarl looks pretty good overall. And for someone who tracked down the G2 versions of the Dinobots back, and they only did 3. They didn't do Sludge. I don't think they did Sludge. And originally, I don't think that they did a G2 version of Swoop. So it was just the 3. And yeah, it's kind of fun, and I'm gonna have fun with these guys. Wish I would have gotten the Grimlock. I wonder if they ever do it again. Clear version in the alt mode, and that's pretty cool and looks pretty good. The clear has been growing on me lately. I can't explain why. And then the Shattered Glass, which probably is the coolest looking in the alt mode. Just of these three, just really interesting colors, and there it goes. But look at this. This is the H57B Turok. It's such a cool looking swoop. I have no idea what the color scheme means, and I don't really care. I just think it looks cool. So I'm tempted, but I'm holding tight and saying no. Here's the alt mode, even though it looks really such an interesting color scheme, and it's got to have some sort of lore behind it that I don't know, but it's still fun to look at, interesting. Swoop's one of my favorite characters, so it's really hard to not buy every version. I think they've made, this will be the 7th color, I think, that they've made, but they all look so good. And this is Uranus taking a picture of all of the, I guess, the standard cartoon Dinobot. So really cool stuff that they've done. It's a big Dinobot week. I feel like I'm talking about Dinobots nonstop, but this is a picture of the Studio Series one, and Studio Series is showing up everywhere. So that's really exciting that those are starting to show up everywhere, and the fact that I think it's BBTS got theirs in stock. I got billed for that one, but anyway, good picture from Prime77 over at TFW 2005. All right, so we got pictures of the crossover collaboration with the Cup Triple Changer, and I'm gonna just say it, and I've said it for every one of these. The alt mode, this is a G.I. Joe item. It's like G.I. Joe first, Transformer second, and the Joe figures look great. The Triple T looks amazing, looks fantastic, and they've done a good job. They've done a good job with every one of them for the alt mode. Now, I do think that this Cup with his backpack and all that, I think that it looks pretty good as a Cup. It's actually a smart idea, and they actually worked it out pretty well. And they can fit in his backpack, the figures. And a better look at Cup, and he looks pretty good. Actually, this is a pretty big figure overall, but yeah, pretty cool looking Cup. Interesting that his guns are the side guns. That all kind of worked out really well, and yeah, it works out as a Cup. All right, so there's a listing for a deluxe swindle for the Bruticus, and so it shows that we are going to be getting Hasbro versions of new incarnations of Bruticus, Minosaur, Superion, and Devastator, and the Combiner Wars 2.0 has begun. But pretty exciting, pretty cool stuff, and will be interesting to see how they stack up to the likes of third-party companies. But it probably will not be quite as good as Magic Square in some ways, because of the fact that the part count's going to be lower, the transformations be more simplistic. I don't know. I would not want mainline stuff to be as ultra complicated as Magic Square's was. All right, we got pictures of Dino King from No Trab, and it's interesting. It's kind of cool. My son collected the first set of dinos, but he was under the understanding of it was going to be $200. A lot of people were under the understanding that this was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Dino King was going to be $200. It's $80, which is still, it's quite a bit of money, but it's, who's getting $200 out of this? I was hearing other people say the same thing. I was like, I had no inclination it would cost more than just the sum of the parts of these core class figures. But anyway, it's $80, and it's up for order. I don't think it's sold out. We do have some Hasbro PulseCon wrap-up pictures, and I'm not going to show everything because we've seen a lot of this. This is like mostly just reissueville here, but we've got a Deluxe Cosmos, G2 Breakdown. G2 Breakdown's pretty good. Pretty excited about that. Armada Wheeljack, Origins Bumblebee, Voyager Ramjet, reissue Tarn, reissue Leader, Galaxy Shuttle, reissue Overcharge, Dino King, and let's see a couple of these pictures. What I want to say about G2 Breakdown is I'm surprised that they haven't done more G2 stuff, because of the fact that they did it in Combiner Wars. They did G2 stuff, and they did full box sets of G2 of pretty much everything. And just most recently, it's kind of opened my eyes up to how little G2 stuff really exists. I thought there was a ton of it, and there's very little out there. And with that, maybe they're going to capitalize on this. But I also want to point out that I saw lots of G2 stuff during Combiner Wars at Rawson. We didn't have Ollies in, so just Ross and all those kinds of places for steep discounts. So maybe that's part of what's fueling their hesitation. So this is supposedly the Armada Wheeljack. So I'll take their word for it and run with it. And yeah, it's pretty interesting looking, but it does I do kind of see it. I see it because I did have that back in the day. I had a loose one that I thought was pretty cool, but I can see it. And Overcharge, the Blitzwing recolor changes into a jet and a tank, and kind of a gray jet and a green tank. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. A trio of reissues. I'm not really too excited about any of this stuff because I've got it all, but there's really nothing to get excited about. But I will say that a lot of people really want that Ramjet, so that'll work. All right, for those who ordered your Omega Prime, they did have that on display at the convention. It's the Transformers 40th Anniversary Expo, and it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty good, and very solid update to what they had going on back in the day. And yeah, it's gonna be out. And I have to say, the Victory Saber, it's really cool that they did that whole thing, one set, one and done. Whoever ordered it got it, and they really don't have to worry about anything else, wait on anything else. Some of us are still waiting on our Victory Leo. So Walmart.com is going to be hosting this, is it Transformers Day? I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but anyway, 3-0 said it on their Facebook, Instagram accounts, and September 17th, mark your calendars for this, or I'm just going to check the news after it's done. I probably won't even watch it, but still, I want to say that it's not really that exciting, but it's still kind of exciting because new stuff's going to be announced and come out. But if it's a Walmart exclusive, it's going to be a pain. Oh, speaking of Walmart exclusives, there is this Insecticon that's going to be released in the retro line. It is the Bombshell with a ram horn with it. Bombshell's not worth it enough to hit that $35 price point, so let's throw a... I don't know how much it's going to cost. I really don't. I don't see this in here. And as just trying to say, what would the last thing cost? $35? I don't know if this is going to be 35 or 20 or 50. I don't know. But I would say it looks good, except for the fact it's got... Okay, here's the thing. Fansoys thinks that silver paint on chest on this character is worth $100. So this is going to be $130. Oh, man. That's a $100 variant to get that. But this is more of kind of a toon look, is it? And... it looks cool, but there's no Vec metal on it. It's not retro classic. They're doing something different, taking a chance, taking a risk. I think it looks cool, but I also don't want to drop $35 on it either, if that's the price. If it's more than that, I definitely don't want to drop it. Here's the artwork, and here is the alt mode. So, it looks pretty cool overall. It's a nice little set. If it's priced right, it'd sell. A lot of deaths this year. This is the G1 voice actor, Peter Renaday. Grapple voice passed away, and he was 89 years old. It's sad, and that we're the voices of our past are dying off, but it is just part of life. It is part of life, and we got another death this week to talk about, but we'll wait till Star Wars. So I'm going to talk about the biggest news this week, literally, theoretically. Literally. This one, Mask, Loyal Subjects, the ones that make the Tmnt, number 4 Tmnt line, that's the best AXN, which BST AXN, they're going to be making masks, and the statement comes out pretty much along the lines that it's going to be exactly like the vintage line, which I'm not sure that they're going to do all that, but Mask has all the crazy features, vehicles, small figures, the removable helmets, closed box packaging with that killer logo splash, artwork and product shots all coming back. They're in the same scale, and we're serving it hot and fresh like 1985 never left. And that's the CEO of the Loyal Subjects. I want to say this. They offer a great price point. The product, I think, has improved since the first Turtles that I got, and then as they put out more characters and stuff, I picked up a few more things that I think are a little bit better than the original Turtles themselves. And I'm pretty pleased with some of the later stuff that they put out. for a decent price point. It's almost always easy to find, and well, might not be with Mask though, but they seem to be doing well at retail. Hopefully they can keep the price point down, make quality products, and really serve this line properly. I'll be all over it. There's a lot more franchises they're going to be dealing with, and with that, here's a couple more that it shows Jim and my buddy. But I made a whole video about this, so you can check that out if you want more information on that. So the Catslair project from Super 7, Ultimates Catslair. It's not a deluxe Catslair, by the way. They're not offering a deluxe Catslair yet. I don't know how that would work. Anyhow, this box art looks nice. It looks good. Kind of an homage to the original, but still definitely not the original artwork. So it looks good. It's cool. It's interesting. I'm not super ultra excited about it, but the box. But I am excited about the playset. There's a lot of disappointing stuff with NECA's Beetlejuice stuff, and I gotta say that there's one company, Mezco, that's probably gonna make the best Beetlejuice figure out there, and it's the 112 Collective Beetlejuice 88, and they're probably gonna do a whole lot of other ones too. $155. See, that's the thing. It would be nice to get a fully posable one from NECA. NECA's making a few more. I'm not sure if they're fully posable or not, but for the $35 price point, is a lot more fun than $155. But this comes with soft goods. They do a lot. They really do a lot, and I would read off the just giant list of accessories and stuff. But you know Mezco, and if you know Mezco, then you know they'll do a really good job. All right, I'm not going to go into the Marvel stuff so much, but the Secret Wars has begun, and just kind of like they did with the X-Men line, they're doing the Secret Wars line. People are super stoked and excited about this. I may pick a few of these up, but I'm not going to be a completist on this. Still looks like fun. It's pretty exciting that they're doing stuff like this. But at the end of the day, the 6-inch scale, it takes a lot of space to collect like this. But it's still very exciting. Okay, so back to Beetlejuice. I knew I saw some Beetlejuice stuff going on here this is the NECA Ultimates Bio Exorcist. So I guess they've got a whole lot planned for it down the road. I guess they were just trying to get off cheap with the first one, because this one does have some articulation to it. Shows a lot of different poses, but $37 price point, better than $155. Got to get tough, yo Joe. We have some G.I. Joe classified, and another one. I've made a video Friday. Was it Friday? Saturday talking about this. And yeah, great figures overall for the most part. No reason to go into too much rehashing of that, but they all look pretty good. But it's Xandar, Leatherneck, the Saw Viper, and Dial Tone. And very classic looking with a modern update, and I think they did it right. I think they did all of these figures right, and I could see Xandar being specifically put into the retro packaging, probably with Zorana, but not sure, like separate, maybe same wave kind of thing, or maybe just Xandar by himself. But all the rest of them, they look very classic the way it is, and pretty good job. So these two were in their render reveal party. This is Law and Order and Heavy Duty, and they both look good. These are just renders, but I think they did the job. They did it well for the most part, and we'll see them in real life next time. So kind of why this is not as exciting as maybe in the past, because we see the renders, and then when the next one comes along, the figures pretty much live up to the renders, and it's what we expect. It's nothing earth-shattering really happened in this at all, really. But it's a solid step forward. So Alpha is from Melmac, is a planet located in the Aldente Nebula in the Andromeda Galaxy. It was located 6 parsecs past the Hydra Centaurus supercluster. So Alpha is effectively from another planet. He's here hiding from the law in with his family, and he eats cats. But this is a NECA Ultimates, another rehash of it. He's got a little video game system and all of that. Here's all the junk that he's included with, which is a lot of really cool 80s gear that's in here. I gotta point that out. And no cat sandwich, but there's a piece of pizza. Another part of the fall geek out at Target is getting this Planet of the Apes Ultimate Gorilla 7-inch soldier. I'm in on all of these. These are pretty exciting. I think I might have pre-ordered them, but maybe I couldn't pre-order them yet. I'm not sure, but I'm going to be checking my targets and then maybe check online for it. But this one has the 7-inch treatment, and it's the action figure with arsenal accessories, including 3 interchangeable heads, 2 batons, catching pole, rifle, belt, machine gun, removable backpack alternative head, and comes in collector-friendly packaging. So far, this is what I've seen for Fall Geek Out, and I want to say that to my fellow Oklahomans that I want to praise them for their strong willpower, for not succumbing to the siren song of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the TMNT, that is trying... Okay, nobody bought anything. Just sat there all week. Nobody bought any of this stuff for a whole week, which is a sign of the times. Is it because people are broke or people are tired of turtles? James Earl Jones is the voice of Darth Vader, and we'll never hear the voice live ever again. It's just going to be all the recorded voice acting that he did in the past, but he's done a whole lot more than just that. I want to say in this time when we lose an icon such as James Earl Jones, who's touched so many lives, that it was really cool that there was a Big Bang Theory episode and he was on it, and it was just interesting to see that side of him. I know he was acting, playing a role, but it was still him having fun, and it was just interesting, this voice that we've heard our whole lives, and just seeing the guy that brought it to life and having a whole lot of fun. And I think that episode, it was really cool. It's the first thing I thought of was wanting to rewatch that episode when I heard he passed. Alright, more Star Wars news. I guess we're going to be getting an Ahsoka clone lieutenant. Another Luke Skywalker, which looks to be an all-new sculpt, and sort of built up a bit. Kind of a bigger figure, it appears. That we're going to get this... Anakin Skywalker, but I can't even pronounce it. Deidre Muro? Is that Deidre Muro? Is that the name of that character? Anyway, I didn't watch Andor more than... I watched it, but I didn't watch it again. Didn't pay too much attention to all the names and all the subtle things that are going on there, but that's vintage collection stuff. So we also have a playset, which they're actually going to be building out the streets of Mos Eisley, and they point out that this is one of those modular type of playsets that you could buy several of and just configure it however you want. You can make a whole street scene. So this is actually quite smart. If you want to build a huge environment, then you could do it, and the repetitiveness of the environment is helpful for the fact that you could just build it like you did. I'm starting to wonder, are we going to get the Lars homestead also? Because they showed that in a picture. I don't have that picture, but they showed that as if that's coming, and I know that was a big deal because all of the Tatooine stuff that was going on back in the day, that stuff's gotten really pricey on the secondary market. So to give collectors another shot at it, even if it's different and newer, it's still going to be a lot of fun. I think this is $50. So this is a blast from the past. The 3.75-inch scale version of the Prince Xizor is something that it was... When I started collecting back in 1996, it was on the shelves, or maybe it was on the shelves in 97, but it seemed like one of those figures, the characters that I collected all the Shadows of the Empire, I think is what it was, and then they just started showing up on clearance and bins, just like crazy. It's kind of funny, but it's also funny because it's pretty interesting. It's kind of an exciting figure to see in the Black Series, and I wonder if they'll do them all, and it's very interesting That's a cool looking figure. We also have a commander droid. Whatever a commander droid is, we are going to be getting one. And if you could have a stormtrooper, a clone trooper. This is, what is it, phase 2 clone trooper. And it is a Commander Bakara. I don't really keep up with all the clones and all the clone names. The Vengeance Sith. Well, this was running long, so let's wrap it up here. This is the Starduster for Classified. You can get it PulseCon, and I explained in my video why I think it's not selling out as an exclusive that won't sell out. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Anything else this week that's going on that I missed? I really want to know. I want to stay in the know. Like, subscribe to Deer Hanger out.